Beirut in the summertime. It's the Paris of the East and it's raining every day. I'm Thomas.
I'm Tim. And we're traveling around the world from city to city.
For each city we visit, we make contact with a local, a complete stranger to us, but someone who loves their city and wants to share that with us.
We're on a mission to find out what cities mean to the people who live in them.
It's a show about
People,
cities,
traveling,
culture,
food,
day life,
music,
nightlife,
and everything in between.
This is my city.
The city, that's where we belong.
We're in Beirut.
So we landed in Lebanon. It's the first time I've ever been in the Middle East. My mother was definitely not pleased for me to go to the Middle East.
So we are staying in downtown Beirut in the middle of a building site. Talk about a sea view. Took a walk around the downtown area, which is relatively new. It's all been rebuilt since the Civil War when it was completely destroyed. Now it's a lot of luxury hotels, a lot of building sites, and the new mosque.
Beirut, I think Beirut's gonna be strange.
I really have no idea what to expect actually, but I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about the city.
I think it's a country where there's probably going to be a lot of disillusionment with politics, and I think people are sick of politicians f***ing everything up, and they're seeking out their own way of expressing their malcontent. I think there's going to be a lot of drive and energy here. I think it's going to be quite a wild, lively city. Let's have a great weekend. We met Pedros the following morning. Pedros is very much our contemporary. He's the same age, same line of work. He's a director, photographer. We just understood each other immediately. He was just easygoing, sense of humor, kind of taking the piss out of us already, even though we just met him. We discussed our plans a little bit. He told us some of the things he was going to do with us. Armenian food, Lebanese food, an Oriental concert, meeting scrambled eggs and Incompetents, going to a recording session, meeting photographers, artists, and also going to one of the Palestinian camps, trying to interview a hip-hop band. His itinerary sounded just up our alley. So first off, we went to Le Chef, which is a famous restaurant in Beirut that serves traditional Lebanese food.
We're in Jemaise. It's a very old restaurant, and you have Sherbel, the waiter. He's famous with his welcome.
He really had no energy or no passion. Welcome. And he would just say that all the time.
Welcome! Welcome!
French fries is a typical Lebanese dish.
Yeah, man.
French fries.
Invented here.
Yes.
They're really called Lebanese fries.
Yeah, Leb fries.
So that was our welcome to Beirut.
Welcome!
Pedros had to go back to work, so we split up for a little bit. But
There's a gig that night at Walima that he wanted to go to, and then it was Halloween Eve, so there was an 80s Halloween party going on that night as well, so we're going to try and hit both of those.
Where are we going now, Pedro?
Now we're going to a fashion designer called Krikor, and there will be Tanya Trabelsi, the photographer.
We met Tanya at Krikor's studio, and Krikor is a fashion designer. And he had a beautiful studio in this really old building with a bunch of gorgeous rooms and a couple of people working on dresses for him there.
when we were trying to find a host for this episode, through Thomas's connections, he found Pedros, and I actually found Tanya.
As it turns out, Pedros and Tanya are really good friends. So it's just a really small scene. It's just completely coincidental that they both knew each other.
We interviewed Tanya, and she's doing a photography book on the underground music scene in Beirut.
I want to show the world that these people are here doing great quality music, and the musicians are friends, so it was a link between the passion for music and the passion for my friends and everything, you know, like all of it together turned into this project that I'm doing.
We flirted a little bit. Not much though. It wasn't much, but there was something in the air. It was obvious.
Where are we going?
To my place.
We had some time to kill before the gig, so we just went back to Pedros' place.
And we have the darts here. They should do like Americans and Iranians or something. No, British and Americans.
We just kind of hung out in his room, and he played us some of his favorite Beirut bands. And it was really comfortable. It almost felt like we had known him for ages.
And then we went to a gig in Walim, which is back in Hamra.
They do every Friday Oriental nights with Ziad Sahab. It's very good.
The musicians are right there in the middle of the room with everybody else, and we're drinking rosé in the corner, smoking rollies. The music was really good. Yeah, it's kind of an Oriental improvised jazz music, and I'd like to listen to some more of it.
Pedros was getting text messages from his girlfriend that the 80s party was rocking, it was happening.
My girlfriend is messaging me.
She misses you.
I'm sure.
So we got to this 80s party, which was pretty wild, and we met Suad, Pedros' girlfriend.
We were having a great time, but Pedros and his lady decided to go home. And for some reason,
We actually made adult decisions, and we decided to go home.
We decided to call it early. When does This Is My City decide to call it? Never. What came into us?
I think I brought it up. I wouldn't mind going home right now. And usually when I say that, they're like, no, go on, we're going. Up till dawn, no!
It's Friday night in Tokyo! Yeah! Let's go mental!
Friday night, it's Melbourne. We're about to party like we haven't partied in a long time.
We're going on the train in Wellington! We're going to see the flag being raised in Tiananmen Square.
Do you think you have it in you?
Of course I have it in me.
Thomas.
We're a disaster. We actually cannot get home before 5 in the morning. Hasn't happened yet. It's day 2 in Beirut. We've got a really good day ahead of us, I think. We're hopefully going to go to a flea market, try and find outfits for Halloween, because it's Halloween. Happy Halloween in Beirut.
Pedros is Armenian, and he wanted to take us to that part of town.
Pedros.
We are in Suq al-Ahad. It's like a flea market. You find everything here.
Every city has a flea market. Everyone wants to take us to their flea market. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of flea markets. Thomas loved it in there. He bought himself a t-shirt in one booth, bought a jacket in another booth, bought some shoes in another booth. He was having a grand old time.
Outside the main flea market, there was like the animals market, and they were selling birds and chickens and fish and hamsters and bunny rabbits and cats and everything, and they're just in these tiny little cages. But it's quite a nice sight to see all these like colorful flying little things for sale. Then we grabbed some lunch at a famous Armenian restaurant called Mano's. The elephant legs in Mano were spectacular. By elephant legs, I mean these giant wads of meat that are on spits that go into a sandwich and then go into your mouth. I had a sausage shawarma type sandwich with pickles, delicious.
You're a good gentleman.
These are delicious.
Then we went to the Beirut Art Center. It's an art gallery and an installation space with video art and paintings. And they also have events there and gigs and solo shows, and it's the first type of independent art space that Beirut has actually had.
Everyone in the art scene was very happy that they finally had something.
And there's always themes. For example, now this period it's America.
There was a bunch of different type of work which was kind of critical of America and America's foreign policy. It's nice to see it from the other side, you know? It's a little raw and it's a little more real when it's coming from the source of people who have suffered directly under it, you know? Well, we went home, had a little bit of break. We were planning to meet Pedros and go to a concert at Walima.
This is when the rain was really started to hammer down. After, our week in Germany and our week in Belgrade, I was just dying for some warm weather. I think you and I were both really looking forward to getting to Beirut, getting in some sun, stop being cold all the time and being in the rain all the time.
And it proceeded to rain for the entire time we were in Beirut. Not just rain, not like Irish rain, not like drizzle. There's like torrential downpours that last for an hour at a time and create rivers on the streets with like pebbles and like roadworks washing away. Eventually we made it to Walima. It was a really nice kind of setup there. There was a smoke machine which Pedros had organized, and lots of Lebanese guys and girls all dressed up in crazy outfits. And I think just about when we got there, Incompetents started playing. There was all those strange sounding, interesting songs that are like telling stories, and I thought they were really good.
But then Scrambled Eggs came on, and they were righteous, I thought. I thought they were fantastic.
What's happening?
It's 1 in the morning, Saturday, Halloween night in Lebanon. Hello! We just left a great party.
Yeah, why would we do that?
Why did we leave it? Because there was a potential for awesomeness.
We went to Cotton Candy to meet up with Tanya. They were having a Punks and Fairies themed Halloween party.
It was a giant club, and it was underground down a couple of stairs, and it was this big open space with like a hill that sloped downwards to the DJ area. And there were tons of people dressed up in crazy outfits. And you hung out with Tanya. I knew as soon as you two saw each other that it was going to be a sure thing.
I'm gonna hop in a service.
Come again.
I'm gonna hop in a cab, okay?
Yeah, getting home was not so easy on Saturday night. I didn't have an umbrella. It was boring. Clothes were soaked, got home alone. You went to Tanya's house and had some fun, I'm sure.
Sunday we had a big day ahead of us.
We met Pedros on Sunday morning. We went for a big lunch in a slightly fancier Lebanese restaurant.
This is Abdul Wahab restaurant. It's one of the best restaurants in Beirut. A bit expensive though, but
Worth it.
yeah, we need some luxury from time to time.
And we had tons of food.
And it was the first real, true downtime that we had together.
But also Stuart, his girlfriend, really opened up, and she'd been quite quiet before, and she was kind of having a good time and being more talkative. And it's really funny because no matter where we are in the world, come Sunday we start really connecting and bonding with our hosts and their friends.
We're going to Studio Tunefork to attend Incompetents recording their new album. Hello.
I was very excited about it because I'd never been in a studio to hear a band actually record a song.
Their music's quite experimental.
Serge, the lead singer, his voice is off key.
To remove all the pressure, we call ourselves the Incompetents because I'm not a good singer, but it doesn't really matter. The one that we're gonna do tonight is a song concerning the paradox of living in Beirut. We have all those dramatic events that happen in the past years with like political assassination, and sometimes we have a risk that a civil war might outbreak again. And the fact that despite everything, we go out and have a drink as if everything was normal.
Serge was really nice. I asked him who did the graphic design for the album cover, because I really liked it a lot. He told me this. His friend Alfred did the cover, and he's like, oh, you know, actually he has a studio right around here. He's like, I can take you, I got about 15 minutes of free time, let's just go.
His studio is in this really eerie industrial area in the middle of nowhere. He was working on a big project, which was called Silent Square.
Like from 75 onwards, you've had more than 200,000 people who've been killed in Lebanon. It's a very small country. It's also a country where the people are very much connected to each other. But the problem is that whenever somebody's killed here, he's usually mourned by his family, or if on a bigger scale, he's going to be mourned by his community. And there was at no point whatsoever a state of national mourning decreed, where people are just going to mourn together. So the idea of Silent Square is to just represent physically every single casualty on the ground, then to invite everybody, like who's lost a brother, an uncle, whatever it is you've lost, you can go down and appropriate one of those spaces down there.
He was saying a lot of other countries, like America and Western countries, European countries, they're all about remembering, and that's a way that the public has of dealing with pain, is to remember something by making a statue or having a day when you remember something. And in Lebanon, the history is so present and embroiled in the current situation, and there's no distance, so people don't want to talk about it, and people can't talk about it.
You create art to make people think about it. Then, when they think about it helps in transforming it into an object, then you can move on. And this is the work that Alfred is doing with the Field Collective, I think.
It was really good to meet an artist like him who had a mission and a collective of people who were all working on it with him. Thanks very much.
Great.
So then Pedros took us to meet Rasha, and she is a friend of his that's very active in NGOs and Palestinian camps throughout Lebanon.
Rasha was taking us to meet a hip-hop band called Katibe 5.
We're going to Burj al-Barajna camp. It's a Palestinian refugee camp in Beirut, and it's one of the largest Palestinian refugee camp in Lebanon.
On the way there, she was explaining to us a lot about the camps and how people there essentially have no civil rights. They don't have the right to work. They don't get papers and they can't leave. So they're really in a pretty grim situation, a very sad situation.
It's a kind of a high poverty situation with lack of basic human rights.
There's a bunch of different Palestinian camps in and around Beirut. It's not like camps or tents like you might think, but buildings like anywhere else, but very narrow little streets and tons of people living on top of each other.
As soon as you go in there, it's a different world. It's really narrow alleyways and there's not much light and there's just wires everywhere.
We tried to do a little covert filming, but it was a really eerie, dark night wandering into this camp. Everybody's looking at us. It's like, who are these guys? And when we got there, they welcomed us into their home and then proceeded to suss us out for a good half an hour.
It was just interesting being in that room. It was only lit by 2 candles. 2 guys were sitting on a mattress. We were just sitting in plastic chairs. There was really nothing around.
I started asking a couple of questions and they answered in Arabic, and I didn't know what they were saying, but I felt the intensity in the room was palpable.
في سلطة ناس مسيطرين على العالم عم يسرقوا الناس اللي عايشين هون فعايشين على الشمع. الشيء اللي احنا عم نقدمه بكل بساطة انه هدول الناس بدوش يعيشوا على الشمع. ما بدهم حدا يسرقنا. هذا الشيء اللي عم نقدمه بالفن تبعنا.
They believe that they've been displaced and that their home has been taken away from them, and they're living in a refugee camp, and it's no way to live, really.
يعني أي ثورة أي تغيير في له وجوه كتير. الفن، الرسم، النحت، كل أنواع الفن، والأكيد الأدب والسلاح بالتحديد. إحنا مأثرين بأشخاص اللي صنعوا هدول الثورات. يعني كل شيء له علاقة بالشارع اللي هو ولا الثورة ولا التغيير إحنا مأثرين فيه.
I think just one of the things that I took away from it was kind of a deeper understanding of people who are in untenable situations and the anger that they feel and how reasonable it is for them to feel that anger.
ما الايام الباقيه قصيره شوف ما احنا الضحك بوجه البنت الصغيره معناهم بشوفش غير ارواح مواكلين وقلوب سجينه هول احياء المدينه السفليه هول احياء المدينه السفليه.
It's Monday. It's Beirut.
Another grim day it was on Monday. It was actually the worst, weather-wise.
We're stuck into this awning because it is pouring, which is completely normal here this week.
Before we left Beirut, Pedros really wanted to take us to the sporting club. And we were lucky enough because it was the
3-hour window where the storm was not crazy. It was actually calm.
It was a really nice place. They have these natural seawater swimming pools and restaurant, cafe, outdoor seating area. You like this place?
Yeah, I always on weekends I used to come here and get tanned.
What do you dislike about Beirut?
It's very small. It's like a village sometimes. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows the stories of everybody. This negative part of Beirut, sometimes it's positive. Yeah, you're never alone.
What do you feel about politics here, the government? What's your take on it?
Pass.
It's Speaking of politics, I think we came across two different groups while we were there. There's like the apathetic anti-politics crowd, and then I think there are the slightly more optimistic people who are trying to give a voice to the people who are not represented by the government. People who want to say something about the state of society and believe that art is like a vessel for doing this. We definitely met people who had a lot to say. Everybody there seems to make everything themselves. If they want to have a gig, they put it on themselves. If they want to publish a book, they publish it themselves. If they want to record an album, they're going to do it themselves. So it's DIY, but the quality is up there.
Oh yeah.
Beirut's famous for its luxury party scene. There's that high-class scene everywhere, but it's very cookie-cutter.
It's like, let's build as many five-star hotels as we possibly can to give us a new skyline and make it all fancy and glitzy and glamorous. And it's almost like it's trying to wipe away everything that happened before it.
What we got with Pedros was the gritty underbelly. He exposed us to the interesting Beirut.
Pedros is a cool cat though. Definitely a cool cat, really chill. It's great to know guys like that.
So what do you like about Beirut?
What do I like? It's alive. That's it. It will never die. No. There were wars, problems, political ups and downs and all that, but I think it's gonna stay alive. Yeah. So that's what's special about Beirut.
And I think tomorrow when you leave, it will be f***ing sunny.
Sunshine.
Yes.
Yeah. We gotta go back. We absolutely have to go back.
If Beirut is interesting and fun in 5 days of straight rain, imagine what it's going to be like in 5 days of baking heat.